everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today in our webinar, Are You Ready for a Post-COVID School Year? We have K-12 leaders with us today to share insights on communication, safety, and working smarter. We are Helios Ed, and we have been helping schools streamline their HR and business processes for over 10 years to save time and money. I'm Brian Juarez, and I would like to thank our esteemed panelists for coming today. And I'm joined by my associate, Jim.
Howdy.
Jim Ullison is an integral part of our partner success team here at Helios is an avid YouTuber. Jim and I would like to thank our esteemed panelists for joining us today. So thank you so very much. I will introduce each of them now. Linda De La Torre is the Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services for the San Marino Unified School District. She has over 25 years of experience in educational leadership and is in the process of earning her doctorate in educational leadership from University of Southern California, USC. Go Trojans. San Marino Unified School District is rated as one of the top school districts based on API and CAPSA scores. Has over 3,000 students in its K-12 program and it spreads across 4 school sites. It can boast one of the best graduation and college readiness rates in the state. Judy Correnti, she is also a San Marino Unified School District, and she is the Human Resource Coordinator. She has been in Human Resources in public schools for 22 years. She earned a BA in Business Administration and an MA in Business Management with an emphasis in Human Resources. Judy works directly with certificated and classified employees in all aspects of HR. San Marino Unified School District has been working with Helios for over 3 years. Dr. Williams, Heather, is the Executive Director of Personnel Services for the Riverside County Office of Education. She currently serves as the Region 19 representative to the Association of California School Administrators, also called AXA, Human Resources Council. She is co-chairing, where we're all excited about as well, co-chairing the Personnel Institute, AXA Personnel Institute, in the fall of 2020. During her 33 years in education, she has served as a special education teacher, principal, assistant principal, and teacher. The Riverside County Office of Education provides a wide range of educational and administrative services to the 23 school districts and more than 423,000 students in Riverside County. The Riverside County Office of Education does not currently work with Helios Ed. Dr. Williams is here to solely share her insights with us today on their best practices in responding to the pandemic. And we so appreciate it. Jonathon Brunson is the Assistant Superintendent of Human Relations for Milpitas Unified School District. Before overseeing HR in Milpitas in 2018, Mr. Brunson was a history teacher, soccer coach, vice principal, director of personnel services for Davis Joint Unified School District, and assistant superintendent of human resources in Yuba City, USD. Milpitas Unified School District takes pride in its multiculturalism, with 52 languages spoken among a diverse enrollment of more than 10,170 students who live within the city of Milpitas. Milpitas Unified School District recently partnered with Helios Ed. Charles, Dr. Park, is the Director of Human Resources for Hacienda La Puente Unified School District and has been in education for 23 years. Prior to that, Charles was principal and middle school teacher. Go middle school teachers. I did the same thing, loved it. He holds a doctorate from the University of Southern California. Hacienda La Puente Unified School District is proud to serve a diverse student population of over 31,000 students from transitional K to adult education. 3 high schools have been honored in the U.S. News and World Report among the best high schools in the nation. The district was recently ranked among the top 50 employers to work for by Forbes magazine. Congrats to that. Hacienda La Puente Unified School District has been a Helios partner for over 2 years now. As our panelists give their insights, please feel free to type any question that you have in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. We'll have our Q&A session at the end of the webinar, so please stay tuned. Write those questions, and if there are any for one specific person, make sure you write their name so we're able to ask that specific person for you. Today, we have asked our panelists to share their valuable insights on during, and after the COVID pandemic. And our first question is for Linda, for Heather, for Charles, and for Jonathon. What are the biggest lessons learned since the pandemic hit, and what would you do differently now? Linda, let's start with you.
Thank you, Brian. I think the biggest lesson that we have learned as a result of addressing this pandemic is that you need to stay one step ahead of professional development with all of our teachers. And I think that this is not dissimilar to what other districts have experienced, but when the pandemic hit, our teachers were not prepared for distance learning. So there was lots of worry and stress and turmoil that took place in the first couple of months. I'm pleased to say that our teachers were able to step up. They were able to adapt and adjust to the new environment. We were able to get our teachers trained up on distance learning platforms. We have a universal learning management system that we're using now, and everyone is very comfortable currently. But had we thought about that prior to the pandemic hitting, which none of us did, it would have been a wonderful thing to have all of our educators trained up and prepared. And then the other thing I will say is that it is very, very important to make sure that you have stakeholders in your community. As part of the process, we developed a stakeholder committee of parents, teachers, the labor unions, administrators, principals, community members, PTA representatives, to work through all of the challenges that we faced. And it was a long process, but I feel like we're there now, and our students are receiving the absolute best education that we can possibly provide in a distance learning environment today. So lessons learned, stay one step ahead in terms of making sure that your teachers are prepared for anything and everything that can come their way.
Awesome, thank you so much, Linda. Charles, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I think communication is something that needed to be focused on, and our superintendent, Dr. Jimenez, brought a book to us called The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni, and it talked about cascading communication, and that's been the foundation of our district to communicate early and often.
Awesome, thank you. Heather, what are the biggest lessons you've learned since that pandemic, and what would you do differently now?
Thank you, Brian. So I won't take a lot of time because I would completely just reiterate everything Linda said. The distance learning was our, biggest learning curve for teachers, and getting them on board with that and up to speed with all the training. I think the thing we would have also thought about is, I don't think any of us expected on March 13th that 6 months later we would still be. And so just anticipating that it may have gone longer and bigger than what we expected, I think all of us would have kind of appreciated a little bit of warning. I think some things that have gone really well and are just good lessons to remember has to do with what Charles said on communication. A few years ago, we did read that book, The Advantage, in our organization, and developed our own rally cry, Communicate to Elevate, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But because we have that kind of rally throughout our organization to communicate to elevate, communication not only across our organization, but to our community, and because I'm the county office, to our 23 school districts that we serve, and helping them talk to each other, we were not only able to have a consistent plan with our organization, but helped all 23 of our districts walk out consistently on how we were going to do business for the entire county together as a team. And I think that was just a real success for us, and communication was a key.
Awesome, thank you very much. Jonathon?
My teammates have said such wonderful things, so I don't want to take up too much time as well, but the timeliness of communication, having that circle of communication, with all of your associations and your parents, your staff, obviously. Get it out on your websites, Twitter, all of that, because through distance learning and where we are right now, we have to rely even more on as many levels of communication as possible. The only thing I'd like to add too is, we were very aggressive, in getting everything out. Our superintendent and our school board and our team did a really good job of making sure our kids were distance learning within 3 days and moving forward. But then the learning curve goes, right? And so we're consistently working on the PD aspect of that, but we have almost 1,000 employees that are just dedicated to the safety and well-being. And the thing I wanted to add is that social emotional piece that goes with distance learning. You have to embrace that. Because of the isolation. So we got very much involved. We didn't have an EAP program, an early assistance, employee assistance program. And we work with some other agencies to ensure that not just our staff, but our students have as many opportunities to stay connected in this world of isolation. And so, good morning, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for all of you. The great answers. Most staff, as we know, are still working from home at least some of the days. Through your own personal experience, Heather, how have you kept your team elevated and productive as they worked out of the office?
Great, thank you, Brian. This is something that we really focused on, and as I mentioned previously, we have this rally cry of communicate to elevate. And so with everybody being at home, we've done a couple of things, and one is we have frequent division meetings that are via Zoom. We also have small team meetings that are via Zoom on a regular basis. And then the other thing, because our team, we're the type of leaders, we're all former principals, that we just would always, go into your classroom or be very visible. And it's hard to walk into people's kitchens, right, or their living room. And so we've kind of created this system where I can shoot you a quick email like, hey, I want to chat about this. Let's just jump onto Zoom. So we use Zoom for those informal pop-ins, also not just, when it's a scheduled meeting. And they can do that with me too. If they need help from me, instead of emailing me or just calling me, they're like, hey, can you jump on Zoom? I need your help. And so we've used Zoom in that way. The other thing that we've done is try to make some meetings that are quick, that are just for fun. As Jonathon talked about, socio-emotional is a real issue with people being so isolated. So we've been doing Kahoots games that are just fun trivia about each other, or just basic trivia, and just trying to find different games like, hey, let's get together on Friday for 10 minutes. We're going to play a game together. And that's a good way for us just to check in. I can see everybody's faces. I can look and see if people are smiling, or like, are they ready to cry? Where are they at? And then we can also have a little fun together. So we've done that. Our county superintendent, Dr. White, has been fantastic. She does weekly videos that goes out to all 1,700 of our employees, motivating them. She's very inspirational. So they're not necessarily videos about work. They're videos that inspire your heart. And so she's done a wonderful job with that. And then in personnel alone, we have our Monday motivationals, where we send out cute little videos or inspiring messages to keep everybody motivated. So we're trying to balance work, fun, and that motivation piece to keep everybody going.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Those Monday motivations sound great. I know everybody needs that positivity for sure. So thank you for that. Charles and Linda, what tools have proved to help your team stay productive? Charles?
Yeah, so for us, we knew that a lot of our work would be working remotely. So I wanted to actually share, Brian, if I may, the request for remote work form. It was created by my boss, our ASU, Jill Rojas, and she doesn't get enough credit for all the amazing work that she did and does. And this is something that she created for our principals to have a conversation with our classified. We realized that we needed a historic or a history of our employees who are working remotely. So this is a way to formalize it. And I wanted to make this available to all of you. It's our template, but you guys could, edit it and use it to your advantage.
Awesome. Thank you much, Charles. And we will be posting this to our blog, as well as sending it to you in an email. So you'll have that as well. And Linda, over to you. What tools have you used to prove, tools have proved to help your team stay productive?
Thank you, Brian. We have really engaged our leadership team in activities around communication, training, support. I believe Jonathon mentioned earlier that the students are in need of social emotional learning opportunities. Our staff are in need of those, same supports. And so we have a vendor that is a partner with the school district, Care Solace, and also Health Advocate. And so those two organizations have partnered with the district to provide services and support to employees who need that. And in some cases, we've found that employee spouses have been adversely impacted financially by the pandemic. And we've been able to provide free financial counseling services through Health Advocate. We've been able to offer our employees free counseling in different areas of need. And so we are definitely trying to provide that level of support. We're also trying to use humor. Humor heals. And so our principals will meet with department chairs and grade level chairs and engage them in some humorous and fun activities. Communication really is the overarching theme. If you communicate well and often, you are going to have success. And I think that without that, you're going to be in deep trouble. So, and Charles mentioned the book, The Advantage, as did Dr. Williams. And that is a book that we actually, as a leadership team, read during our last administrative retreat. So I highly recommend that book to anybody who is interested in improving on their communication skills.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You know what is so awesome? I love this, the increased communication, the humor, the fun, because really that's what keeps our employees going during this real challenging time. So definitely understand that, and thank you for that. I'm sure your employees are smiling from ear to ear, so that's awesome. I'm going to ask Jim, we're going to take a quick break and ask Jim to share how Helios makes working remotely easy. After that, we're actually going to have a quiz, and you have an opportunity to win a Starbucks gift card. So all you'll need to do is answer in the Q&A with the correct answer, and you actually win that Starbucks gift card. We'll email that over to you. So Jim, can you please take it away?
Sure, gladly. Let me go ahead here. I'll share my screen. Thank you very much, Brian. So we hear Helios is helping, but let's take a quick look and just see for ourselves how this is happening. I'm going to show us a few key features that are helping our partners across the country work smarter than ever before. So first, I'm guessing that most of you can agree one of the least fun things about the traditional onboarding process is the paperwork. So Helios replaces that traditional paperwork with accessible from anywhere, step-by-step electronic pages. And your new hires can complete this process with ease at their convenience from anywhere. So best way to see how this works is going to be from our homepage dashboard right here. And we will go over to our onboarding page. So from here, you can see at a glance all the different packets that you have within your inbox. You can see all the different packets that you have here within the system, and the sky is the limit. You can have as many different packets on here. They're easy to make, easy to customize. So I'm going to show us a quick example of a workflow for onboarding right here by Patricia Carver. And this right here is what Patricia would see as the new hire. So your department hires a new employee. They would receive the link to Helios, log on to Helios, and this is their onboarding packet. So this is all totally customizable. This can say whatever you want. You can customize it for different photos, videos, and the new hire will simply go ahead and put all their information in here. So with the new hire putting the information in, you will see less mistakes because they're going to spell their last name correctly and other details. And since they're putting it in, your HR team isn't having to do a double data entry nearly as much. So it's saving HR a lot of time as well. So they'll put in all their standard information here. All the typical forms are built into Helios. So you have your I-9, your W-4. I'm guarantee many of you have seen this form many times, and we always update them to their current state. So this is the 2020 W-4. Employee will put all their information in here, type all this in, and right here you have your e-signature. So with a click, they can e-sign, they can date it as well, and go through all the rest of the forms here. Again, all your standard forms are built in to Helios. You can also have different school and district documents built into Helios here as well. Sky is the limit. You can have as many as you like. And for this example, you have their contract. They'll just read through, accept and sign, and move on to the next ones. Helios, as a safe, secure system, is able to allow these new hires to electronically upload their documents. So their driver's license, social security card, transcript, these will all electronically go into Helios. And when it's already in Helios, your HR staff won't have to do any more scanning. They can just look at these documents at any point when they like, and I'll show us that here in just a moment. When the new hire finishes their process, they submit it. This will go off to HR, and once HR approves this packet, all that information will automatically go into Helios and can be routed out to other departments. So IT, payroll, whoever you like can see that. Now, everything you just saw me do, employees and new hires can also do them from the Helios mobile app. So you go to heliosed.com, you can see this great video on that and read some more information regarding the new Helios app, which does a ton of stuff, saving HR a lot of time and empowering employees and making their lives easier. So from here, once all that information goes into Helios, just how do we access that? Well, from our Doc Wonder. So from here, your admin can look at any of the documents that are associated with our employee right here, Amy Smith. So we'll take a look here at this document, 2016 W4, okay? Any documents you want in Helios, you can have them here. And here's another look at a lot of that information that Amy would have typed into her onboarding. You can see all that right here. Once all this information is within Helios, it's very easy to run reports on your employees, as well as set automatic reminders. So right here, you have your TB test, your first aid certification, CPR renewal, different licenses. Helios will automatically send out these reminders to the employees and to their supervisors, guaranteeing that that everyone is staying compliant. And from here, you can also do really easy reports. With a single click, you can run over 100 different reports within Helios. You can also easily make your own reports here with our ad hoc feature. So from here, for example, you can take a look at the employee details and say, well, maybe you want their first name. Let's put onto here as well our job class, and then we can also put onto here, let's say, the original hire dates. From here, I'll click next, and this is going to allow you to generate a report with various filters as well. So really easy within Helios, a great way to save a lot of time for your staff. And there's more that I can be sharing, but I'm going to first hand it back over to Brian because I know our panelists have a lot more great insights to share with us all.
Awesome, Jim. Thank you so much. That was great. Who is ready to win a Starbucks card? So once again, first person to write the correct answer on the bottom is the big winner, and we're going to go ahead and email that to you. So the question is, drum roll please. Okay, which form is not built into Helios as a standard onboarding form? Is it A, the W4, B, the I-9, or C, the 1040? All right, Trent, you are the big winner. Let's find out what Trent said. And Trent, not that one, not that one. And yes, sirree, Trent, it is a 1040 form, so absolutely right. And the Starbucks card is coming your direction, so please watch your inbox. We're actually now going to go back to our amazing panelists. So awesome. Judy, how much time and busy work have you saved this year with Helios?
Thank you, Brian. I have saved countless hours. I can't quantify them because it's so many and I've lost track, to be perfectly honest with you. I use Helios every day, and one of the main features that has saved me so much time is the onboarding system. It used to be in the old days that we would meet with each employee, go through all the paperwork, show them where to sign, have them write their name and their address multiple times, and then have them take everything and work on it at home and bring it back. And then we would spend time reviewing every single form to make sure they signed in the right place and didn't leave anything out. And so now with Helios, it's very easy for me to set them up in the system. It just takes a few minutes to enter their basic information and send them an email to start the onboarding process. And once I do get that information back from them, I can review it on my time. And if I have any questions, it's easy for me to follow up with an email or a simple phone call. And so that has saved me countless hours of time. The employees also like it because they don't have to write their name and sign their name multiple times on every single form. So a lot of them just fill in with a click of a button to have them sign it. So they also like it. The other thing that saves me time is the reports. I do run a lot of reports. There's always something that we need to know about our employees. So I'm constantly running reports for seabeds, for benefit information, for just countless things, seniority. So the reporting feature has been very helpful and has saved me a lot of time.
Awesome, Judy. Thank you so much. I remember when I became a teacher, I think the employment packet was about that thick. So yeah, absolutely.
It seems to get thicker every year with all of the forms that everybody has to sign acknowledging all of the policies and procedures that we all have now.
Absolutely. With our teams working remotely, it's more important than ever before to make sure we are communicating effectively, as has been said so well this webinar. So let's take a little dive into how have all of you stayed communicative throughout the pandemic. So Jonathon and Heather, what communication strategies to the community have been most effective? Heather, we'll go with you first.
So I'm going to take this from a little different perspective because we don't communicate with our district parents, our community like districts would, because we serve the 23 districts. So our communication is to the districts.
Right.
The districts communicate with each other. And then I think one real key for us has been to really involve our labor partners, our associations, in all the communication prior to anything going out so that we don't get a surprise after something has already gone out. So we work on it, we get their input, we let them know what's coming down the line. And that has helped everything just go really seamlessly and smoothly. We've developed FAQs that we post on our website. We have things on our homepage and on our personnel page. We send out little videos our superintendent puts together. And so I just think working with not only our county office, but with the districts, we've been able to just really consistently message, and then they message out to their individual communities. So that's worked really well.
Awesome, thank you. Jonathon, what communication strategies have helped you? And go off mute.
Yep, there we go. Sorry about that.
All better.
Heather is brilliant, so I'm not going to say too much more than what she just said. But again, that circle of communication with all of your associations, getting things out in a timely manner, and being honest. You know, if you don't know something, say we're still waiting for that report. Working with your county and the state agencies has been wonderful up here in Santa Clara, especially the County Office of Ed. And then having those one-on-one conversations with folks just to ensure that you keep that relationship connected. It's not just through email. It's not just something on a website, that you do pick up the phone, since we can't do the in-face meetings like we used to. Us old school people picking up the phone, that's not a problem. We still enjoy doing that. But I think it's a thing that you need to do so you stay connected. And then and make sure you're asking a lot of questions so that you don't have to come up with all the answers yourself. In other words, tell me what you need to feel successful. What are your challenges? What are the areas for growth? And what can we do to better support you, be it our parents, our staff, our students. Our superintendent, Cheryl Jordan, put together team hall meetings rather than town hall, team hall. And we would do those every Friday just to check in with people. We played music, we had different presentations, and then in order to get ready for what we had to do, which we knew was going to be long term, we had several ad hoc committees get together in the areas of support for that group of people. And then we listened to them, and then we let them present to our board so that we could come up with a unified plan. We celebrate, and one of our strategic goals is the culture of we, and that can be challenging because not everybody gets their way, but we do want to listen and we do want to care for those that we serve.
Thank you. Great suggestions. Heather, how has negotiations and leaves changed since COVID for you?
So I'll just briefly touch on leaves because I'm sure everybody is getting updates from their legal counsel and are aware of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. In fact, there was an update that came out about that yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, make sure you're looking for that. I want to focus most of this topic on negotiations, and that is we're used to negotiating at the table, at a physical table, face-to-face, being able to sit down with each other. And we always bring treats and food and break bread because that just creates a really nice environment. And we've had to negotiate MOUs and open contracts over the last 6 months and haven't had that advantage. And so we've done it via Zoom. We've used breakout rooms to caucus. It's worked. But one thing we've always done is start our negotiation sessions just talking with each other, asking each other how they're doing, you know, where are they working from in their house? Everybody pick up your pet, let's see it. You know, cute little things that we can do to remind each other we're people, we're in this together, before we're getting down to business. The other thing is, and everybody knows this, negotiations doesn't start at the table. It starts, as Jonathon said, in the relationships you build day to day. So we are doing a great job of just really reaching out to our executive boards of our associations on a regular basis. In fact, I knew one of them last week wasn't feeling well. So yesterday I just sent her a quick text like, hey, checking in on you. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling any better? Just little things like that. Or we know we had our vice president, his wife was having a baby. So I'm sending him text messages like, hey, is the baby here yet? And just, you can't be short-sighted on the value of that personal relationship. And that is just really key. And I think because our associations know we love and value them as employees, but we also love and value them as human beings, as people, our negotiations have gone really smooth. And why they might come in with a 10-page list of wants in COVID time that the associates kind of get together and work on, by the time they leave, because of our relationship, it's down to something that's actually meaningful and you know, can actually be done. I think the other thing is I would just caution everybody, be careful on your language, even if it's in an MOU that expires. You don't want necessarily something to be put into practice that you don't want to be put into practice long term. And so just keep in mind that when COVID goes away, you know, we want to be back to kind of business as usual, not that everything has to be the same way, but if you wouldn't want it to be in your regular work, you might not want it to be in an MOU for right now. So just, it's hard to get rid of language once it's in there. So just be careful with that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those tips and suggestions. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented unprecedented challenges to the nation's K-12 education system. Charles and Linda, with a view on safety, what measures have you put in place to ensure social distancing and employees as much as possible? Linda?
Thank you, Brian. We have, as I mentioned earlier, a COVID-19 task force that has worked really, really hard on making sure that we have the appropriate measures put into place to keep all employees socially distanced as CDC requires. So we have developed a system with a QR code posted at each of our schools and the district office. So when an employee comes to work, they get out their phone, they scan the QR code, up comes a survey with several questions that they have to respond to for screening purposes. And if they answer yes to any of those questions, they're directed then to leave and go home and contact their supervisor for more information. So that has been very helpful. It's very quick. It's an added step. We've provided our employees with protective equipment, masks, shields in some cases. For our health aides, we have gowns that they can wear, gloves, hand sanitizer. We also have digital thermometers at each of the schools and at the district office for people who are checking into work. So that's an extra added screening tool that we use in addition to hand sanitizer. So they come in, they take their temperature, as long as everything is okay, they use the hand sanitizer and they're off to work with their mask on. We are also making plans to make sure that when we do bring students back on a hybrid schedule, that we have worked on appropriately making sure that we're distancing students, that we don't have a full class of students at any one time together. We're going to work with cohorts, likely a cohort A, cohort B. So we're working out those details with our bargaining units, and we do keep them very engaged and very involved in conversations about how this is going to work, because it's going to affect them in a very, very impactful way. And so we're meeting with our association leadership every week, and our superintendent is in those meetings. And I have to say, they have stepped up and they are just being amazing partners in our endeavor to keep employees and students safe.
Awesome, thank you. Charles?
Yeah, I think Linda covered a lot of the important elements. So, and I was taking notes as Linda was talking. I really like the QR code idea. We actually walked the sites and made sure that the 6 feet distance was adhered to. We had administrators take out the yardsticks and really measure it out. Proud to say our own carpenters in-house, they built the sneeze guards, and we were able to implement those as early as we could. And our mantra in our school district is if you're sick, stay home, then we'll work it out here in HR or through our administrators. But I think a lot of our employees had a lot of questions about the whole protocol, and I think a lot of it is having a conversation day to day and constantly reminding and making sure that everyone follows the practice and the procedures. And so far, so good. So I think a lot of it comes once again down to communication.
Awesome, thank you very much. As our teams work smarter, it's equally important to work safer, adhering to CDC guidelines. We're going to take another quick break as Jim shares how Helios helps schools and districts with paperless form approvals and evaluations. We will then have another quiz, so stay tuned. Once again, we'll have a quiz, and this time you're going to be winning a Amazon gift card. So yeah, real excited about that. Jim, over to you.
All right, thank you again, Brian here. I'll share my screen. So safety and distance. We know that this proves a challenge to HR and business. So thankfully, paperless solutions do exist to improve the safety and welfare of your team. Now, how exactly does Helios do it? Well, from the dashboard, we can see within our Doc Wonder, right here, this tab right here says add documents in bulk. With this tool, you can easily send files out to all of your employees for e-signature. Any documents that need to be signed on can be done this easily. This information simply goes in, mass add documents, and it will go out to your employees where they can then log into Helios and e-sign those documents, just like you saw moments ago within the onboarding with that electronic signature. Same concept here. So this is allowing HR and business to have a much quicker turnaround time when it comes to getting those signatures that they need in order to stay compliant. Now, our workflows also, they allow this opportunity for your team to stay connected even virtually. And managing this form approval process is easy within Helios. So from here, you have your workflows. You can set up as many different workflows, personnel requisitions as you would like, just like with the onboarding, the sky is the limit. Right here, you can see all the different workflows that are within your inbox. So I'm going to show us just 2 quick examples. Right here, this one's been pretty popular lately, just a COVID-19 leave. So how have schools been dealing with this? Well, with Helios, you could do it all electronically, virtually, safely, and at a distance. And you can easily manage all of that here within Helios and track it. So the employee or the admin will put in all this information. You can see right here that approval progress. And from here, as the admin, what we're looking at here is the admin portal portion of that. You can go ahead and approve this time off request for COVID-19. Another really great personnel requisition workflow for schools have been for this one as an example for a teacher position. As I scroll down, you'll see there's a number of different criteria associated with this position. But again, this is all great. You could do all of this remotely. You can see different funding codes that are listed here, 50-50 split. The sky is the limit on that. And one really great feature with this is this audit trail. So you can see at a glance just where it's all been, when it was approved, in this case, when it was rejected. So this saves teams a lot of time in their approval process. Now we know that evaluations are coming up for a lot of you folks. Now, how exactly can you handle that here within Helios? So we have right here our evaluations dashboard where you can manage all of the evaluations, just like the onboarding as well. The sky is the limit for the evaluations that you can have in here that you can make and manage. We're going to take a quick look at 2 examples as well so you can see for yourself just what these evaluations look like. Here's an example of a certificated position. And as I scroll down, there's still more of this here to complete. It's in process, but you can see just what this all looks like here. Easy to complete electronically. Employees and staff can fill this out from any smart tablet, device, a laptop. Right here, we have an example of a classified position evaluation. Okay. Really easy stuff here with Helios. Now, as an employee, you can also access your employee self-portal. So from within here, the employee can take care of a lot of great things. They can check their PTO balance. They can do other requisitions, leave of absences, personal data. There's a lot of schools who will empower their employees to update their own personal data, which saves a lot of time for HR. As well, they can check out their evaluations right here. So you can see as an employee your previous evaluations. You can also submit rebuttals. You can view those previous evaluations to just confirm everything, that it's all good from your end. So again, a lot of great ways to save time here with Helios and allowing folks to stay safe. So in addition to that, working efficiently and working smarter. So at this time, I'm going to hand it back over to Brian because, again, I know that our panelists have a lot more great insight as well to share.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Totally appreciate it.
Of course.
Who is ready to win an Amazon card? And let's go ahead and do that. And there we go, right there. So I'm going to share this. Once again, the first person to answer. So, who cannot approve a form in Helios? Is it the principal, the director of HR, James Bond, or the special ed teacher? And looks like Jeff Fish is the winner. So Jeff, awesome. Let's see if you're right. And let's check this out. Let's see if it's the principal. Nope, nope, none of those. Not that. Oh my gosh. Yep, absolutely. It's James Bond. You got it. Good job. So watch your inbox for that gift card. Now we'll go back to our most amazing panelists. We have truly learned a lot today, especially about communication, about being elevated, so much information here. However, it's really up to each one of us to continue to use these lessons in our daily lives long after the pandemic is over. A director from one of the nation's largest school districts told me that the pandemic has forced them to make internal changes that will keep teachers teaching and students learning. Judy, how has Helios helped you the most this year?
Well, it certainly has been an unusual year. And we were all, as mentioned earlier, we were all hit in March with the fact that we could not conduct our business as usual. We had to do a lot more work remotely, and we had to figure out solutions to solving all of the issues that came our way. So Helios has helped me with being able to access everything remotely very easily since it's web-based, and I could pull up employee files, data, look at their documents, anything I needed to at home. So that was extremely helpful. It did also help with the hiring, as I mentioned earlier, this summer, as far as everybody doing everything online instead of meeting. We are doing our evaluations online this year. We started it last year, mid-year, and this year is our first full cycle of evaluations through Helios. So during the pandemic, it's of course going to be different for our teachers and administrators as far as doing their observations and so forth. But I think our timing is actually pretty good because now that it's remote, it will help with that. So just recently, I sent out the information to all of our teachers who will be evaluated this year, and they can log into Helios with a single sign-on, and they can do there's a form. We actually uploaded all of our own forms, evaluation forms, into Helios with the help of the tech team. They were able to convert all of our documents that we use into electronic forms. And so our teachers will go in, they will fill out their professional goals online. The principals will have access to that, and they can look at that while they're doing their observations, hopping into those Zoom classrooms and filling out their observation notes, and then at the end of the year writing the summaries. It's all going to be in the system, all online. The teachers can see it, the administrators can see it, and then at the end they will be able to sign electronically as Jim demonstrated. So I think that's going to be a great tool for us this year. And you know, we have less paper, and that's also a good thing for us this year. Our files were to the max, and we don't have that problem anymore. So it's been a great transition for us, and Helios has helped with that. I just want to thank the team because they are always there to help us with support. Whenever I have a question, I need help getting something uploaded or changed, or I forgot how to do something that I learned a year ago, they're always ready and willing to help, and they get back to me super quickly, which is appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Judy. Last question for Jonathon, Charles, and Linda. What would you recommend to anyone wanting to go paperless and just change the way they do things to make sure if this ever happens again, that they're prepared? So Linda, let's start with you.
Certainly, Brian. I would unreservedly recommend Helios for any district that wants to go paperless. The product it's amazing, and it has really benefited not just the district, but our employees as well. As Judy mentioned earlier, it is so easy for employees to go in to the Helios platform and to complete any paperwork that they need to have done. And in this current COVID-19 environment, having the ability to conduct your evaluation processes remotely through Helios is incredible. It just takes so much pressure off of our principals and our teachers. It takes the worry out of that ordeal entirely. Helios has been a great partner in that, as Judy mentioned, they're always available to assist whenever we have questions or concerns. We never have to wait to get responses. It has just been absolutely seamless from start to finish. I can't say enough great things about Helios and the partnership that we have had and how well it fits. It's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Jonathon?
Yeah, good morning. I think, you know, going paperless just makes sense. You know, some people have been doing it for years. It just takes that vision and that relationship with a platform that you feel is going to work best for you and your team. So that being said, coming on board here to Milpitas, I put it out to my HR analysts. I really wanted to empower them to see, one, do you want to go paperless? Yes. Number two, in order to track forms and everything, and then just being able to have a platform that's user friendly. So I put it out. I had 4 different companies come in. I won't mention the 3 that we didn't select, but Helios by far was the platform that my team, who's going to use it every single minute of their existence, felt the most comfortable with. And so by empowering them to make that decision and having the relationship with Helios, when I first met the team at one of our AXA functions, it really came through that the relationship was there. The platform was going to be something that they felt really comfortable in using. And so it makes it a win-win situation. So we're just in our implementation stage. We're starting with evaluations and what have you, because of contract deadlines, we got to get that going. And we're going to slowly introduce it to our folks, because during distance learning, another lesson learned is, don't bring on a lot of new stuff for people, because just teaching in itself is hard as it is, or doing your classified work is hard as it is. So we're going to take it slow, get it right. And what I'm most appreciative is the relationship piece. So when my team has a question, they're able to talk to the people that you see in this room with us right now, but even to the higher ups, that will be there for you, because it's very important to have a successful launch and to continue that, great work that we need to do. So we're really excited. And it's also environmentally correct to go paperless, everybody.
Absolutely. Save the trees for sure. Charles?
Yeah, I echo what Linda and Jonathan have said. Just want to mention also, we did have a vetting process. And one of the things that Helios did promise was that you guys would always pick up the phone and work through the issues with us. And that has stood its test. So as the new guy in HLPUSD, we rolled out Helios 2 years ago. And it was really all about training. And what I realized was that our principals had to learn this, and the professional development was something that we had to create. Helios put together a webinar for us. We created a web page on our HR web page with all the links of different step-by-step on how to utilize Helios as a principal, and even from the view of the teacher and an employee. And so I think it came down to the training, and you guys have been very supportive. And for that, we're going to keep it going and see what other challenges lie ahead for us.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you to Heather, to Linda, and Judy, and Jonathan, and Charles. Thank you so much for joining us today. We truly appreciate your wisdom. You taking the time out of your busy days to share your insights. We're truly appreciative. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, learned from each other. So thank you very much. Before we end, it is time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, and if you have any specific questions for anyone on the panel, please go ahead and ask that, and we will spend the next few minutes doing that. So yeah, if you have questions, please ask away. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. I always used to tell my students that. No, it's not stupid. No, there's no such thing.
Yeah, usually that's me asking those ones, so don't feel bad, anybody.
Hey, so I told my students as well, it's usually me. Yeah, absolutely, it's me. All right, let's see. And we'll give you about another minute to put those questions in there. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to add those. And if not, the panelists have done a fantastic job. So thank you very much. Who's playing the Jeopardy theme?
I think we have some questions.
Okay, great. There we go. I just needed to just move the mouse a little bit. How are your schools teaching remotely or virtually? That's a great question, and that comes from Dan. Dan, thank you very much. How are your schools teaching remotely or virtually? And that's to anyone.
I'll
So
jump
anyone
in
wants
real
to jump
quick.
in. Thanks,
Google
Jonathan.
Google Meets and using Google Classroom, as also Zoom, and we made sure we got all those privacy issues taken care of so that people can't Zoom, boom, whatever they call that, into your group. And then I think it's the PD that goes around it. We're looking what's out there and making sure you stay connected with the kids. And as some of my colleagues said, you know, we developed MOUs to ensure that that great work is happening, so that we can show engagement, both synchronously as well as asynchronously. And we worked together as a unified district to come up with that plan. So there was total buy-in and support for all of our staff as well as our students. And then last I'll end with is that, you know, you can work remotely, but there are times we need you to come in and do the great work, because we do have staff coming on campus to teach from their classroom, even though it's virtual, just to have that feeling of being connected in their school. And then sometimes we need support staff to support them for the various things that we need. So just have a timely communication and support people, and it's working out for the most part. But we're still dealing with, as everybody else is, with COVID and the changes and the county reports and what have you. So
awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. Jeff has a question here as I scroll through these questions. On the go, can a platform be accessed with the same functionality on my iPhone, Safari, or Chrome browser, Jim?
Let's see here. Yeah, any browsers will register Helios.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And for the panelists, when are you planning on going in person? That's a great question. So when are you planning on going in person? That's from Dan as well.
So that's a great question. Our MOU with our unions goes till the end of December, so we're going to reassess it then. And that's our plan going forward right now.
Yep.
We filed for a waiver for our special needs and language learners, foster youth, kids that need to be connected. And we're asking for teachers to volunteer at this time and support staff because of our MOU. And then we are geared to go hybrid when that time comes, but it's going to be just like Charles said, it's an ongoing process to work with your associations to make sure their safety, our students' safety is in place, and waiting for direction from the state and the county.
Awesome. Heather, when are all your schools planning on going? Is it different per district or?
Well, it's actually the state of California has a color-coded system by county, looking at the percentage of new cases in the county over a period of time. And currently our county is on a watch list, so we can't open. If it moves off the watch list, we have to wait a couple of weeks before we can decide to have some in person. So it's really, as Jonathan said, waiting for, one, we can't even consider it until the state gets us off the watch list. So every county in California is a little bit different depending on what's happening in their area. But probably I don't see it happening prior to the holidays, probably not until January at the earliest, is kind of what we're anticipating.
Awesome, thank you. If there's any more questions here. Yeah, if you have any more questions, please ask. And thanks for sharing this solution. You're welcome. See if there's anybody else. All right, we promised to only keep you to 11, and we have about 30 seconds left. So as we sign off, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us. And to our panelists, once again, you are amazing. You know, as a former teacher, the most important thing is making sure our students learn. And I'm so grateful that all of you have a hand in that. You are absolutely amazing. So thank you very much for all you do for our students throughout our communities. Thank you very much. And as we end, let me share our contact information here. And if you do have any other questions, our panelists will just send those questions to me and Jim, and we'll go ahead and get those over to our panelists, I promise. And Jonathon, I think you're going to say something.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe. And remember, as we've said, we are in this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.